Jarna Gajjar, Assistant Professor at IT/ICT Department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome to the video lecture series of subject Software Project Management. In previous lecture, we have discussed about what are the software maintenance activity processes. Okay, so there are different activities that is a part of maintenance process that we have already discussed. And also we have discussed about what are the objective advantages and disadvantages of re-engineering process. Now in today's lecture, we are going to cover one of the fresh topic, that is business process re-engineering. Okay, so in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about what is BPR, that is business process re-engineering, what are the principles, what are the benefits, what are the needs of that BPR, and a proper example of business process re-engineering. So let's start with the today's topic, that is business process re-engineering. So what do you mean by business process re-engineering? Business process re-engineering, that means BPR, is a systematic, disciplined approach to reducing organizational cost and redundant business process involving the analysis of existing human and automated workflow. Okay, so it is an analysis and redesign of core business processes to achieve the substantial improvements in its performance, productivity and quality. Okay, so once in your business you have developed some of the things, then you are re-engineering those things. That is the concept behind business process re-engineering. Okay, so here it is a systematic and disciplined approach to reducing your organizational cost, and you are improving the performance, quality and productivity of your business. So it is referred to the set of interlinked tasks and activities performed to achieve a specific outcome. Okay, so this means that if you are doing something in a parallel way, okay, so you are modifying those things for the better quality, for the better performance. Okay, so for an example, a Balaji company is there. Okay, so they have developed many of the food products, right? So they have came up with every time with a new food recipe. Okay, so at the very first time they have just wafers in that food category, but nowadays there are multiple things are included. Okay, so for better productivity, for better quality, they are re-engineering their business proposal. Okay, so this is the concept behind business process re-engineering. So the main purpose of BPR is to redesign the workflow. So whatever the workflow you have in existing or current, you are redesigning that workflow. Okay, so the main purpose of this BPR is to redesign the workflow in order to dramatically improve the customer services, achieve higher levels of efficiency, cut operational cost and become a worldwide competitors. Okay, so this is the main purpose of BPR. So let's understand more about the BPR. So what are the companies they are using BPR to? Okay, so companies are using BPR because of it will reduce the cost and cycle time and also improve the quality of your business process. Okay, so first thing, that is reduce cost and cycle time. That means business process re-engineering reduce cost as well as a cycle time by eliminating unproductive activities. Okay, so the things that is not more useful in your particular business, then you will eliminate those activities. Okay, so for an example, if your company have a multiple employees, okay, but many of the employee doesn't have any work, or one employee can do a work of two employees, so you will eliminate one of them. Okay, so some of the unproductive activities or employees who can perform them, you are eliminating them. Okay, so reorganizing by teams decreases the need for management layers, accelerate information flows and eliminates the error and rework caused by multiple hands-on. Okay, so if in your company you have 5 employees and all the 5 employees are doing the same work, it will always increase the time and cost for that particular software, because for a particular product you are checking for each and every time. Okay, so the same thing will be happen with a 5 employees. Okay, so it will also increase the cost. So by eliminating those particular unproductive employees or things, you are reducing the cost, and also you can also improve the quality. So business process re-engineering improves quality by reducing the fragmentation of work, and establish clear ownership of the processes. That means fragmentation means if you have a huge module, then you are fragment them, like you are dividing and you are giving that particular module to one of the team member. Okay, so he or she will be the owner of that or responsible for that particular module. Okay, so it will improve the quality because only the one person is responsible for that particular module. Okay, because we know that if you are doing any project and multiple things are involved or multiple members are involved, so all have some perspective, right? So all perspective are based on their particular thoughts. So it might be happen when you are also visiting some places as a picnic place. Okay, so some will tell you that we can go for the any temple, then other people of your family member will go for the any mountain place. Okay, so there are different perspective of different people, but if one and only one member can decide the place, then it will improve the quality and you can easily enjoy your trip. Okay, so the same thing will be happen with a software product. Okay, so if your module is fragmented of work, and so it will clearly establish who is the owner for this, so automatically it will improve the quality. So work can gain some responsibility for their output and can measure the performance based on their prompt feedback. Okay, so this is the reason why companies are using a BPR, that is business process re-engineering process. Okay, so this is about why companies are using business process re-engineering. Okay, so now what are the steps of BPR? So it include multiple steps, like you have to first define the business process. So that means you have to map the current state. Okay, so work activities are there, workflow is there, what are the roles and responsibility, what are the reporting relationship, what are the supporting technologies, what are the businesses. So you have to map the current state. So that means defining a business process. Then you have to analyze this business process. That means you are identifying what are the gaps in that particular business, what are the root causes, what are the strategies disconnected, and so on. So in the context of improving the organizational effectiveness, operational efficiency, and in achieving organizational strategic objectives, so you have to analyze for each and every thing in your business process, right? Then after, if you are done with analyzing, then you have to identify and analyze improvement opportunities. Okay, so for an example, if company owner is there, so company owner is always looking for the profit. Okay, so what he or she will do, he or she will call for the meeting and he or she will discuss all the points. So what are the gap or what are the faults why we are not getting a profit. Okay, so here they are defining business process and analyze, and then after they are identifying what kind of opportunities they have so that their company should be in a profit. Okay, so identify, analyze, and validate the opportunities to address the gaps and root causes identified during analysis. And this step also includes identifying and validating improvements opportunity that are forward facing. Okay, so here is the way how businesses are ongoing and how they are improving their quality as well as profitable margin. Okay, so this is the way how they are working. Okay, so identifying and analyzing improvement opportunities. Then after, next is design future state process. Okay, so now you have identified what kind of opportunities you have, so you have to design for that particular thing for the future state process. So select the improvement opportunities identify above that have the most impact on the organizational effectiveness, operational efficiency, and that will achieve organizational strategic objective. So you have to make sure to select opportunity for which the organization has the budget, time, talent, etc. So to implement in the project time frame, create a forward facing future state map that comprehends the selected opportunities. So if you are designed for the future, you need to analyze each and everything, whether you have a proper budget or not, whether you have a time or not for adopting any changes. Okay, what are the market analysis, what are the market demands. Okay, so you have to design for the future state processes. So this is the another step. Now the next step is you have to develop future state changes. So frequently overlooked and a key root causes in a failed BPR initiative. This is where the above opportunities are operationalized before implementation. So whenever you are adopting any change, before adopting the change or before implementing those change, you have to analyze that particular thing again and again. Okay, so whether it can be operatable or not. Okay, so new workflow and procedure need to be designed and communicated. New enhanced functionality can be developed and tested, etc. Okay, and changes opportunity can be implemented until they are operationalized. Okay, so this is about develop future state changes. Now the next is implement future state changes. So in previous stage you have developed future state changes and now you have to implement those changes. So classic implementation based on dependency among changes or opportunities, changes management and project management and performance monitoring. So you are doing for all these things. So this is all about the steps for business process re-engineering. So whenever you are going to re-engineer your business process, then these steps should be followed. So starting for, you have to define your business process, followed by you have to analyze business process, then you have to identify improving opportunities. So what are the opportunities you can adopt? Then you have to design future state process, then you have to develop future state process, and at the end you have to implement those future state changes. Okay, so this is all about the steps of BPR. Now the next topic is what are the benefits of BPR. Okay, so BPR plays a major role in organizational performance improvement in terms of cost, quality, delivery, employee productivity, etc. So it will also help to streamline business processes and systems. It will also help companies easily adapt the changing times and reduce the operating expenses, improve the company profitability and sustain competitive advantages. It will boost up the employment productivity. It will increase the customer satisfaction by improving the quality of the product and services. Okay, we are using a WhatsApp because WhatsApp every time came up with a new things. Okay, for an example, when WhatsApp was developed, it just have a chatting facility. So at those time we are use a text message for communicate with any friend. Okay, but at that time the limit of 100 messages per day is there. Okay, so now move to the WhatsApp message. So they have an unlimited message you can send to your friend. Then they have adopted the feature of audio and video calling from the Skype feature. Okay, so based on the market demand, they have adopted the change. Again, based on the Facebook, they have identified the status updating. So what you are doing, what you are feeling. Okay, so that you can perform that on a status update. Okay, and also you can also share some documents, you can also share some photographs, you can do a payment, okay, by using a WhatsApp. So WhatsApp has some facilities and it will also increasing more and more things. So this is the business process re-engineering. So you are improving in your existing system, right? So this is also about what are the benefits of business process re-engineering. Now let's discuss about what are the principles of BPR. Okay, so there are 7 basic principles of business process re-engineering that is proposed by the Michael Hammer and James Champy. Okay, so 7 principles are like organize around outcomes, not tasks. So you have to organize around the outcomes. So what will be the outcomes after you are doing re-engineering? So you don't have to follow tasks. You have to organize the outcomes. Then you have to identify all the organization process and prioritize them in order to redesign urgency. So whatever the existing system have features that you are going to identify. Then it integrate information processing work into the real work that produce the information. So whatever the information processing work, you are mapping it with the real work. Then it will treat geographically dispersed resources as though they were centralized. So as we are using Gmail, WhatsApp anywhere, so they have a centralized database. So it will treat it as a geographical disperse. Then it will link parallel activity in the workflow instead of just integrated their result. So multiple activities are carried out. So for an example, if you are doing shopping from online, so you have to add some product to the cart, then you are doing all the remaining things like address adding, then checkout, and you are doing payment. Okay, so all the parallel activities are linked together. Then you have to put the decision point where the work is performed and build control into the process. So whatever the decision point, you have to mention in your project, and also what will be the control for that process that you have to mention. And at last, it will capture information at once and capture them for the sources. Okay, so this is all about the principles of BPR. Okay, so let's understand business process re-engineering by using an example. So example is about Ford Motor. Ford are the automobile company who have developed multiple cars. Okay, so in 1980s, the American automobile industry was in a depression and in attempts to cut the cost. So Ford decided to scrutinize some of their department in an attempt to find inefficient process. So for that, we can map it with the COVID-19 situation. So in a previous year, we have know about what is the corona situation is there. So multiple companies are disqualified their employees. They are just resign their employees. So multiple peoples are unemployed at the COVID-19 situation because the company are in a loss and they are not afford the multiple staff. Okay, so they have just use a minimum staff for the highest work. Okay, so this is again the same example of Ford Motor. So one of their finding was that the account payable department was not as efficient as it could be. Okay, so their account payable division consists of 500 people as opposed to the Mazda's 5. Okay, so their partner is Mazda's 5 and they just have a minimum employee where Ford Motors have a 500 employee in a account section only. Okay, so while Mazda's were a smaller company, Ford estimate that their department was still 5 times bigger than it should have been. Okay, so they have analyzed that we have a large amount of employees in our company, but still we are in a loss where Mazda's have a limited resources and they are in a profit. So according to Ford management set themselves a quantifiable goal to reduce the number of clerks working in a account payable by a couple of hundred employees. Okay, so they just manage that number of employees we are going to reduce, then we will go in a profit because you have to pay salary to each and every employee. So for that 500 employees are there, so you need to pay for the 500 employees. But if it is not worth, then you have to reduce your team size. Okay, so then they have launched a business process re-engineering initiative to figure out why was the department is overstaffed. Okay, so they have came up with a new idea like what will be the lack of things. Okay, so why we are not in a profit, so what are the reason behind overstaff. Okay, so they analyzed the current system and found out that if work as follow, so when the purchasing department would write a purchase order, they send a copy to the account payable. Then again material control will receive the goods and send a copy to the related document to account payable, and at the same time the vendors would send a receipt for the goods to account payable. So each and every department are sending their individual receipt to the account department, so that the clerk at the account payable department would have to match 3 orders. So once it will be purchased, once it will be came like a goods and services in a mode, okay, and one it is a vendor base. So they have to match 3 orders. So if they match, he or she would issue the payment, and this is of the cost took a lot of manpower is required for that department. So they have came up with a new opportunity. So that is the case of BPR. Ford completely recreated the process digitally. So purchasing issue an order and input it to the online database. Okay. Similarly, material control receive the good and cross references with the database to make sure it matches an order. And if there is a matches, material control accept the order on the computer. Okay. The same thing will be happen at the DMart and Big Bazaar. So for an example, once any product will come, they are going to entries in their particular inventory. So each and every product have some barcode. They are scanning all those barcode and do an entry in their database. So once any customer will buy that product, so at the exit time at the billing counter, again the same code is scanned. So it will automatically cut that particular product from the inventory. So if there is a 10 quantity product, for an example, there is a Parle-G biscuit section is there. So 10 Parle-G containers are there. So once any customer will buy, so from the inventory, it will automatically cut that particular cost. Okay, so this is how you can make a digital way. Okay, otherwise earlier stages they have to do a manual work, like this much of material we have received, this much of material we have delivered to the customer, and this much work we have pending. Okay, so we have to do all these three things in a manual way, but now with the help of software you can easily analyze it by using a database or a digitalization. Okay, so it will also reduce the manpower. Okay, so that your company should be in a profit. So instead of use of 500 employee in a account section, it will minimize by the 100 or less than 100 employees. So this is all about the business process re-engineering concept. So that's all for the today's lecture. So in today's lecture we have learned about what do you mean by business process re-engineering. It is a systematic and scheduling process for the better opportunity of any businesses. Okay, so for better productivity, for better efficiency of any organization, they can take a business process re-engineering look. Okay, so this is all about BPM. Thank you.